Welcome. Today we will be reading lesson 17 in the workbook and from the text, chapter 2, section 5, the function of the miracle worker, paragraphs 8 through 18. And now for lesson 17. I see no neutral things. This idea is another step in the direction of identifying cause and effect as it really operates in the world. You see no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts. It is always the thought that comes first, despite the temptation to believe that it is the other way around. This is not the way the world thinks, but you must learn that it is the way you think. If it were not so, perception would have no cause, and would itself be the cause of reality. In view of its highly variable nature, this is hardly likely. In applying today's idea, say to yourself with eyes open, I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Then look about you, resting your glance on each thing you note, long enough to say, I do not see a neutral blank, because my thoughts about blank are not neutral. For example, you might say, I do not see a neutral wall, because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. I do not see a neutral body, because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. As usual, it is essential to make no distinctions between what you believe to be animate or inanimate, pleasant or unpleasant. Regardless of what you may believe, you do not see anything that is really alive or really joyous. That is because you are unaware as yet of any thought that is really true, and therefore really happy. 3 or 4 specific practice periods are recommended, and no less than 3 are required for maximum benefit, even if you experience resistance. However, if you do, the length of the practice period may be reduced to less than a minute or so that is otherwise recommended. In lesson 17, we are asked to identify cause and effect as it really operates in the world. While one believes the thing one sees is the cause of what one sees, we are told that the opposite is the truth. One actually thinks the thought first, and then one sees it. This is difficult to understand at first because it goes against what the world believes. But projection is the nature of perception, of thoughts projected outward. Also in this lesson, it is pointed out that one unconsciously makes distinctions between such things as what is alive and what is not. Things that are pleasant versus things that are unpleasant. And thus these categories and distinctions determine how they are seen. These underlying judgments only serve to obscure and hide the thoughts that are truly joyful, that are truly loving. And now for our text reading for today, from chapter 2, section 5, the function of the miracle worker, paragraphs 8 through 18. The fear of healing arises in the end from an unwillingness to accept unequivocally that healing is necessary. What the physical eye sees is not corrective, nor can error be corrected by any device that can be seen physically. As long as you believe in what your physical sight tells you, your attempts at correction will be misdirected. The real vision is obscured because you cannot endure to see your own defiled altar. But since the altar has been defiled, your state becomes doubly dangerous unless it is perceived. Healing is an ability that developed after the separation, before which it was unnecessary. Like all aspects of the belief in space and time, it is temporary. However, as long as time persists, healing is needed as a means of protection. This is because healing rests on charity. And charity is a way of perceiving the perfection of another, even if you cannot perceive it in yourself. Most of the loftier concepts of which you are capable now are time-dependent. Charity is really a weaker reflection of a much more powerful love encompassment. that is far beyond any form of charity you can conceive of as yet. Charity is essential to right-mindedness in the limited sense in which it can now be attained. Charity is a way of looking at another as if he had already gone far beyond his actual accomplishments in time. Since his own thinking is faulty, he cannot see the atonement for himself, or he would have no need of charity. The charity that is accorded him is both an acknowledgement that he needs help and a recognition that he will accept it. Both of these perceptions clearly imply their dependence on time, making it apparent that charity still lies within the limitations of this world. I said before that only revelation transcends time. The miracle as an expression of charity can only shorten it. It must be understood, however, that whenever you offer a miracle to another, you are shortening the suffering of both of you. This corrects retroactively as well as progressively. A. Special principles of miracle workers. 1. The miracle abolishes the need for lower order concerns. Since it is an out-of-pattern time interval, the ordinary considerations of time and space do not apply. When you perform a miracle, I will arrange both time and space to adjust to it. 2. A clear distinction between what is created and what is made is essential. All forms of healing rest on this fundamental correction in level perception. 3. Never confuse right and wrong mindedness. Responding to any form of error with anything except a desire to heal is an expression of this confusion. 4. The miracle is always a denial of this error and an affirmation of the truth. Only right-mindedness can correct in a way that has any real effect. Pragmatically, what has no real effect has no real existence. Its effect, then, is emptiness, being without substantial content. It lends itself to projection. 5. The level adjustment power of the miracle induces the right perception for healing. Until this has occurred, healing cannot be understood. Forgiveness is an empty gesture unless it entails correction. Without this, it is essentially judgmental rather than healing. 6. Miracle-minded forgiveness is only correction. It has no element of judgment at all. The statement, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," in no way evaluates what they do. It is an appeal to God to heal their minds. There is no reference to the outcome of the error. That does not matter. 7. The injunction, "Be of one mind," is the statement for revelation readiness. My request, "Do this in remembrance of me," is the appeal for cooperation from miracle workers. The two statements are not in the same order of reality. Only the latter involves an awareness of time, since to remember is to recall the past in the present. Time is under my direction, but timelessness belongs to God. In time, we exist for and with each other. In timelessness, we coexist with God. 8. You can do much on behalf of your own healing and that of others if in a situation calling for help you think of it this way: I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. The 5-sentence prayer to the Holy Spirit at the end of this section has brought much comfort and guidance to many course students during challenging moments. It starts with, I am here only to be truly helpful. This line reminds one that one's only true purpose here is for healing. I am here to represent him who sent me. This second line points out that one is present only in the service of the voice of love, the Holy Spirit. I do not need to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. In this line, the voice of love will guide all of one's actions, and thus one need have no fear. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. One trusts the Holy Spirit's guidance completely, and is comforted by knowing one is never standing alone. And finally, I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. In this final line, as the Holy Spirit guides one to help others release their fears and restore their right-mindedness, one will learn to do the same for oneself. And since the other is oneself, healing another is really healing oneself. For giving and receiving are the same.